Hey guys, this is Cholerasc bringing you set 2 of KTF versus Samson Khan, and in this matchup, after all that Terran versus Protoss action, we're going to have a fast and dirty Zerg versus Zerg here between KTF 815 and Hades on Samson Khan. Here is 815 in white at the 1 o'clock. This map is Andromeda, so who knows, we might be seeing a fast expand from a Zerg player here, one of the two Zerg players. That could be possible since this is such a large map and a macro-friendly map. This is great, otherwise known by Hades. I'm going to go with Hades, the Samson Khan Zerg, brown at 5 o'clock. 815 is 2-2, I believe, against Zerg so far. 50% therefore. Great is 2-0 against Zerg, so he might be someone to watch out for in Zerg versus Zerg, although that is a tiny statistical sample size, of course. So I still am rooting for 815. I still think 815 has the best chance. He's been showing a lot of promise this year in pretty much every matchup. He's definitely one of KTF's rising stars, just like Lucifer I'd count as in that category. He was defeated by Jaedong in the last game I casted with him, KTF versus Lakehaf, but certainly every Zerg will sooner or later be defeated by Jaedong. Here is the Overlord being built for both players, so neither player going for any kind of 9 pool here. So we could be seeing some sort of fast expand from both players, or maybe a 12 pool. I think a fast expand actually might not be a terrible idea, because that natural expansion is fairly easy to protect. And I'm speaking about the one under the ramp, actually. The one inside of the base is, of course, even easier to protect, but Zerg versus Zerg is so much about gas that you really never want that natural expansion without gas. It's just not worth the effort or the loss in time. And here we're seeing Lucifer, 815 going for this expansion, and he's going to plant it right here. So we are going to see that fast expand. Meanwhile, a 12 pool coming from Great, or Hades, and this is going to be the first divergence in this game. We'll see if Hades decides to plant a second hatchery at his natural expansion also, or whether he'll be going for tech. It looks like he's going to be going more for a tech build here, getting that extractor down also. And there is the divergence here. So 815 will have an advantage if this game goes fairly long, which for Zerg versus Zerg is probably the 8-minute mark. Is a late game pretty much after Aspire is done. If both players have not utterly destroyed each other, that would be considered a late game when both sides have mutalisks. But anyway, 815 will have the advantage then. However, Great will have a little bit of an advantage. I'm just going to call him Great. I like Great. It's not as good as best. It's only the positive, not the superlative. But Great sounds good too. And Great is getting custom Zerglings out. No, actually, he's getting drones out. So he is going to try to bridge this economic gap here between the two players. Maybe he's going to plant a second hatchery. Who knows? And here are some scouting overlords for 815. No, for Great actually. And I believe those are probably Zerglings. I can't be sure though. I would assume they're Zerglings from 815 though, because he can't know yet that that Great doesn't have Zerglings streaming towards his base at the moment. And Great also going for his lair, both about the same time. And like I said, 815 will have that extra hatchery up, so he will have an advantage, and I'm wondering what Great plans to do about that. It's a little surprising to me that he hasn't planted an expansion yet. Or has he? Oh no, he has planted an expansion. They didn't show us that. Great has gone for an expansion of his own, but still he is going to be a little bit behind. The 12 hatch is just stronger than the 12 pool. You will end up with more drones, even with the same number of Zerglings, and hence your economy will be a little bit better. And Great, we're now seeing transferring some drones over. 815 has a couple more Zerglings though, and 815 could be going for attack right now. That one might be successful, but 815 I think doesn't exactly feel confident in that. Perhaps he's waiting for speed upgrade also for his Zerglings. That's a distinct possibility. And here we're seeing a creep colony going up at the front door for Great. I'm a little surprised by that. Not necessarily a need for a creep colony, a sunken colony just yet. He does have a couple fewer Zerglings, however, I don't think that's necessarily the wise idea here. Spire's going up at exactly the same time for both players, and that is going to be really interesting here. This is going to be we'll see whether 815 decides to go for a fast attack here. With a couple more Zerglings, or if he's going to sit back in his base and wait for Mutalisks. We'll see how confident he is in his Zergling or his Mutalisk Micro. Both players still, so far, playing a fairly reserved game. That's actually quite surprising for Zerg versus Zerg. Neither of them has experienced any combat yet. And we will be seeing those Mutalisks coming out, though. So this could be like that game between Jaedong and 815 on Bluestorm, where there was basically 6 minutes of building up. And even though both went for exactly the same build order, Jaedong just dominated 815 in about 20 seconds of Mutalisk and Scourge micro, the game was over because Jaedong had 3 more Mutalisks than than 815 did, even though they started off with the same exact number. It could happen again. I'm not sure who has the better micro here, but we will soon find out. And here's 815 pressing forward with his Zergling advantage. No, it looks like he's actually going to retreat. So perhaps he's going to wait for the Mutalisks to come out and then try to pick off some of the enemy ones and try to break the front door then. We'll have to see. Both are going to be producing 6 Mutalisks, I believe, although perhaps one side will get some Scourge. I'm not sure if that would be a wise idea, though, given that the other side will have so many Mutalisks that microing against the Scourge would be fairly easy. Here comes a possible attack from Great. I'm not sure if this is going to be successful, though. He's about to push in. He's trying to get a position here, but no, I think 815 has too many Zerglings for him to win this battle, possibly. But no, Great may actually have more Zerglings here. No, Great does have more Zerglings. I think he won the battle by about 2 Zerglings, and that is enough of a difference here. 815 now pushing down more Zerglings, and I think that will actually end this attack. I think it only caught 1 drone, so not much damage done by Great there at all. And now he has a deficit in Zerglings, and he's going to be one forced to retreat. However, he does have a Sunken Colony, so I think it will be okay. I don't think he'll be in any trouble here. If he manages to pick off some of these Zerglings, he could get a temporary advantage on the ground. It looks like he might be able to do that. 815 now running away his Zerglings. He needs to get some Mutalisks over there as soon as possible. There's his first Mutalisk. Of course, neither player has gotten their second Extractor down yet because of how close this game has been. No, actually, I'm wrong. Great has gotten his second Extractor down before. I guess I didn't see that, but yeah, that is going to make a huge difference. 815 is going to be in trouble here because soon Great will just be able to produce more Scourge and Mutalisks than him. He's already lost another drone now. He's going to lose some more drones in the main, possibly, and that could be absolutely terrible for him. He needs to micro those drones away. It looks like finally he snipes off the drones, but I think he lost one more drone at his natural expansion. He can't afford to take these losses at all. And both players just still holding their Mutalisks in reserve, still not using them for anything other than killing Zerglings. And we're just basically waiting for one side to feel confident in his number of Mutalisks and then going in for the attack. Also, it's going to come down to a little bit of luck. Who can get to the other's mineral patches at exactly the right moment and pick off some drones while the other is away. We're seeing the Mutalisks at the natural expansion for the brown player, Great, and both actually planting the Mutalisk at their natural expansion. And wow, Great has a lot more Scourge though. I think this is because he got that second gas out sooner. He has a lot of Scourge. I think this is definitely, overall, his Air Force is stronger than 815's. But we'll have to see how good 815's micro is. I think micro still could overcome that number of Scourge, but it's going to be very close. And we're seeing, of course, no drones mining minerals at the natural expansions. Both are just going to stick to Mutalisk Scourge from now on. And it looks like the last remaining Zerglings are getting killed off. So this is going to be a pure air battle from here out. Pure dogfight here. And wow, a lot of Scourge, a lot of Kamikaze Warriors there for Great. And here comes the Scourge from 815. A couple more Zerglings on bomb. They could actually make the difference, believe it or not. Those couple of Zerglings, during the aerial combat, the Mutalisks will not be able to pick them off. And they could kill off a number of the drones. But looks like 815 now. Oh no, 815! 815 gets all the Scourge. Oh man, that was terrible for 815. He did not manage to micro against the Mutalisk and Scourge fleet. And he lost so many Mutalisks in that headlong rush together, and that was absolutely terrible for 815. Great play by Great. He's definitely got himself a numerical advantage at this point. I think the game is pretty much over for 815. And once again, we're seeing one of those Zerg versus Zergs where there's 8 minutes of building up and then just one decisive battle that ends it all. And I think it was because Great threw up those Zerglings, 815 was forced to attack those Zerglings with his Mutalisks, and he didn't micro away when the Mutalisk Scourge force ran into his Mutalisks, and hence he lost so many Mutalisks to the Scourge. I do think right now he has about the same number of Mutalisks, but he's lost a couple of precious drones here and there, and I think his Mutalisk count about equal right now. But I'm just, I definitely think Great has the lead here. 815 coming down now, trying to micro. He needs a micro very well here against this large defensive Scourge fleet here. And no, he's not attacking, actually. Surprising. It looks like he's actually just going to get a couple of Zerglings and perhaps try to wait until he has more Zerglings to push in too. And here comes the attack from 815. He's going to crash into Great's forces. Great needs to be ready for this. I'm not sure if he's ready. He doesn't know where this is coming from. Here comes some Zerglings wandering through. I think he's trying to distract the Mulus, but no! 8 Great is not distracted, and no, all these Scourge are chasing. 815 needs to micro perfectly, but the Mulus and the Scourge are chasing him, and you can't micro against both at the same time. That is the weakness of Mulus micro. You cannot... Oh, man, absolutely terrible for 815. I think he might lose this game, actually. But one Zergling inside of Great's base, and now the Scourge coming up for 815, but see, 815 Scourge cannot land because Great is microing, and there's no Mulus chasing after him. I think this is going to be a good game here for 815. There's no way he can come back from this deficit, I feel. His fewer Mulus, I think his Scourge are all dead. Yeah, this is pretty much it. After these Scourge are microed away. Yeah, GG coming from 815. So Great extending his record to 3-0 against Zerg. This is someone to watch out for, by the way. The Samson Khan player, Great, aka Hades. I would love to see him against Jaedong, to be honest, and see if Jaedong can break his no-loss cherry. That sounded gross, actually, but that would be basically what would happen. Oh, and 3-0. Yeah, exactly. He's definitely announcing the fact that he's 3-0 against Jaedong. Against Zerg. I was just thinking of Jaedong because Jaedong used to do that when he had his streak.